Good morning, everyone. The Board of Trustees, I use she, her pronouns. It's my pleasure to welcome you today to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick. UUCB is located on the ancestral homelands of the Wabanaki people who have deep, enduring, and ongoing relationship with the Brunswick's lands and waterways. We acknowledge the painful legacy of the region's colonial history. We also strive to recognize and welcome the presence and concerns of the Wabanaki, whose people and culture live within and contribute to the vitality of the community we share. And our own Reverend Dr. Karma Amos is leading the service, and her reflection is entitled Belonging, if I'm saying it right instead of building, anyway. Our music is performed by music director Will Bristol, not his dad, Bill, and pop-up choir. If you are new to UUCB or visiting today and would like information about the congregation, please stop by the fellowship table, the welcoming table in Fellowship Hall, which is, you passed it on your way in. The folks there will be happy to answer any of your questions. As we begin our service today, please remember to turn off your mobile devices. And once again, welcome. We're very glad that you're here.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Bernier. It's our she, her.
I'm David Julane, he, him.
The chalice lighting this morning is from Reverend Dr. David Breeden. Welcome, friends, new-timers, old-timers, seekers, skeptics, saints of habit, and rebels of the heart. Here we gather not because we think the same, but because we choose to journey together. Belonging is not something given, it is something we build with open hands and open hearts. It is made in the sharing of stories, the holding of silences, the courage to show up as we are. Here we practice a radical hospitality, not of perfection, but of presence. May we make this place a shelter for the soul, a workshop for justice, a sanctuary where love is not merely spoken, but lived deeply. Let us open our hearts and trust and hope in the spirit of belonging.
Good morning, beloveds. My name is Karma Amos. I use she, her pronouns, and it is my honor to serve as the minister of this congregation. And I hate that I have to say this to you. I will never email you and ask you for money. There are scammers going around, so I just want to say that out loud in front of everyone. We want you to know that you are welcome here, whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are from. No matter what you may be feeling in these complicated times, no matter how confident you may be, we welcome you as the person of inherent worth and dignity that you are. In this first month of our new church year, we're exploring the theme of building belonging. And this is one of those tasks that's a little bit like building a boat while we're sailing it. Do you know what I mean? I'm working on my coastal metaphors for you. Yeah, because I love you. We already exist as a spiritual community that has worked hard for a long time, hundreds of years, to welcome all and to help people find their place in diverse community of beautiful people with strong opinions. And we also know that there are things that we need to learn to do or do differently in order to make room for others with different experiences and traditions, with different gifts, and with different good ideas to join us in our mission. We're trying to expand the capacity of the ship and the clarity of its course while it's already moving forward with intention and purpose. Now, if that sounds messy to you, it is and will be. If it sounds like a fun adventure, it is and it will be. We invite you to join us, whether you were here for the initial launch or just scrambled up the gangway this morning. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I invite you in this moment to take a deep breath. Take a moment to look around. You are surrounded by other aspiring souls who have not yet given up hope. Other travelers who are trying to navigate this uncertain journey and who realize that we will always do that a whole lot better together. We are gathered here for worship, to focus on that which is worthy of our attention, to seek solace for our despair, and motivation for being and acting as our best selves. There is power in our coming together. There is strength in this gathered body. Let us open our hearts to the Spirit at work within and between us. May we risk allowing ourselves to be moved, comforted, challenged, and even changed by the love that we center in this community. You are welcome. And now if you would rise in spirit and in body, if you are able, we'll sing our opening songs.
Gathered here. Though I may speak, though I may give, come, Spirit, come. Gathered here. Spirit, draw near. Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Tobin Cooney Calnan, and I serve as your lifelong spiritual formation director. I use the pronouns he and they. Now is the time in the service when I would like to call forward our children and youth. Come on up for a story. So if you're new, you might not know what we do in a service. So the kiddos are usually sung out about after this story, and then usually, most weeks, we have a meeting for different ages. We break up into a couple of different groups and have our meetings together. And then once a month, usually the last Sunday of the month, but it's going to be this Sunday since we're all just getting together for the first time, we'll do a children's chapel where all the kids will come together, youth included, and we will do sort of a kid-tailored service that I do thinking of all of you in mind. And so for folks who are going to weekly join our children's formation, we ask that you register just so that I can know who your kiddos are, and registration is online, and you'll see when you come to pick up your kids today in the Mary Meeting Bay Room, there's a giant QR code, and you can scan that, and that's where you can register. Some of you may have already gotten an email from me as well. So welcome. Hi, everybody. That was boring business, huh, Holden? You're sitting there, the only person on this brand new rug. How do you feel about the rug? Does anybody else want to come check out how nice and, like, maybe don't take up all the rug, but check out how nice this rug is? So we're talking about welcome and building community, and so I have this book. It's aptly called Welcome, and it is by Burrow, and it's a pretty cute story. So I'm going to break right into it. And it's dedicated to Marguerite, Annabelle, and Milan. I am a polar bear. That's me with my feet in the water near my friends. Life is quiet and peaceful on the ice. But wait a minute, what's that noise? Crack. The ice breaks. We are drifting away, my friends cry. Hold on, I reply. And then it's just the three of us, floating in the middle of the big blue ocean. We need to find a new home, but the water goes on forever. We play games to pass the time. I spy with my little eye something beginning with W. Wave! The sky darkens and the waves grow bigger. I am scared. We need to find a new home right now. We need to find land. We're saved. Hello, cows. We're looking for a new home. May we live here, please? You are too tall. You are too bearish. Sorry. And off we go again, looking for a new home. Our little ice boat is getting smaller. Is there somewhere we can land? Yes, this could be our new home. Hello, panda. May we please come ashore? You are too many. Look around. There's just not enough room. You can't live here. By the time we reach another island, our little ice boat has almost melted. We don't have much time. Help us! Did you hear something? No. We could go and look. That's too much trouble. Pass the tea. Things don't look good, and we're about to give up hope when the ocean carries us to an empty island, and not a moment too soon. We have a home all to ourselves until... Excuse me, We're looking for a new home. Can you help us, please? It looks like you've got plenty of room. You are welcome. That was a cute story, right? How did you feel about the way that they were greeted at some of the islands?
I think it was honest.
You can hold it.
I think that
I think it's on, yeah.
oh yeah, okay. I think that they kind of were greeted in kind of like a negative way of how they greeted the monkeys, because I feel like all those animals probably were on something similar to the iceberg or like a boat, kind of like the monkeys were, and they were kind of like, yeah, I don't want you. I just imagine all of the giraffes just got to the island. They don't want anyone to go there. And I thought that was obviously kind of uncivilized of those all those little animals, but still, I like how the bears did welcome them, and I thought it was kind of a generally cute little story.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. How did you feel for the bears, Holden? When they were going to all these islands and nobody would let them in, how'd you feel?
I felt like they should have been welcomed, and the animals that didn't welcome should have welcomed them, because the animals could see that they were on a tiny little iceberg.
Yeah.
And that it was melting, and then they just said, no, go away.
Yeah, it was a little heartbreaking, right? Here's all these people in trouble and they needed help and no one would have them. Now, it would be really tempting, right? They've got this whole island to themselves. It would be really tempting to be like the other folks and say, no, we like this the way that it is. We don't want other people to come. But all of you seem to innately believe that we should help other people and that they should have been welcomed. Is that true? You all think? That is amazing. So I would like to welcome you all to this new church year. We're going to be sung out into our space in the back there. Will you all help me in singing them in?
Good morning. I'm Jane Danielson, a member of the Pastoral Care Associates. For joys, this is from Will Bristol. Thanks to all who came and supported the rebirth of the Side Door Coffee House on Friday. Many thanks to all volunteers who helped set up, break down, provided food, made coffee, washed dishes, collected money, provided sound, etc. It was a cozy time full of positive energy. And from Tobin, I'm happy to report that my father-in-law, Jim Nadel, is recovering his strength after hospitalization for weakness and will be graduating from a rehabilitation center to an assisted living center that can support him as he lives with Parkinson's disease. And for concerns, Sharon Brown writes, please keep my brother in your thoughts and send needing energy to him, as he was operated on Friday for cervical spinal stenosis and had 7 discs repaired. He will need to wear a neck brace for at least the next 3 months. Thank you. A note, someone writes, may we stop political violence and gun violence, please. And finally, please keep the trans community, especially the trans feminine folks, close to your hearts, and check in on your transgender friends and family. This is a time of great threat and fear for us. We appreciate your support. If you are not attending in person and would like a joy or mail to joys-and-concerns at uucb.org. At uubrunswick.org. And if you look for the light blue ribbons on our name tags, we would be happy to meet with you here or meet with you later. We offer a listening ear and our presence.
Would you join me in a time of prayer and contemplation? Let's breathe together and let our bodies and our spirits just settle for a moment. Probably more than a few of us here who are holding something heavy in our lives right now. Grief, fears about health, about livelihood, about family, about violence, about war, about the future. Others of us are inspired by hope and ready to double down, while others of us are numb and need you to share your energy and light with us. Before we turn to the greater world, let's take just a moment right now to affirm for ourselves and one another that we belong in this place, that each one of us is welcome here, no matter how put together we may feel. May this assurance help us in our quest to love ourselves. Let us sing together as we continue praying.
Whoever you are. Whoever you are. Whomever you love. Wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here.
In this deeply divided world, the act of loving ourselves and our neighbors requires courage and faith. Faith that moves us beyond our own individual concerns towards those of others, toward those shared by all of us who inhabit this planet together. Because it is not always automatic that we move beyond the confines of our own concerns, we have to try. We have to be intentional about making room in our hearts, in our homes, in our communities, for the larger body, the bigger us that we form when we come together. May our praying and our singing energize our efforts to create a world of belonging for all people.
Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here.
And for our church, we pray, as we continue to work together to accommodate and equip our growing congregation, may we move fear and annoyance out of our way when they stop us in our tracks, so we can refocus together on the more important mission we share.
Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here.
in this troubled world with conflicts escalating in so many places. Help us remember our interdependence. Help us welcome the concerns and the perspectives and the wisdom of others as equally worthy of attention to our own. Let us make space in our hearts for the stranger, for the apparent enemy. In our shared humanity, may we find and nurture connections of love and justice that can lead to transformation for all of us.
Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here.
Amen, and may it be so.
Hello, I'm Carol Evans. My pronouns are she, her. These are selections from Building the Movement We Need by Sparhawk, a truly welcoming movement. We need a deeper understanding of what creates a sense of belonging, how that can be ruptured, what we can do to repair and expand it. Many progressive organizations have focused on inclusion, bringing in representatives of marginalized groups that have historically been kept necessary first step in creating a sense of belonging. But it is only a step. Vital as these efforts are, they are not the same as generating a true sense of welcome and belonging. To create a sense of belonging rather than mere inclusion, people must also be viewed, not just as token representatives of a particular identity, but as complexity of their varied interests, gifts, and idiosyncrasies. We who want to create a world of greater social justice must find a way to create belonging without othering those unlike us. The movement we need is one that can be broad-based and link these different groups together for rights. No one identity group alone has the power to do that. We must become better at bridging, willing to draw a bigger circle and create a larger we.
I'd like to welcome up to the steps the members of the UUCB pop-up choir. In this body, in this circle, in this country, this world. In belonging, please join us. In belonging, no fear. In belonging, justice. In belonging, greatest happiness. Belonging, no peace. In this circle.
I tell you, it feels like we've experienced a whole month's worth of stuff since I saw you just last week. Is that just me, or does it feel that way to some of you? Yeah. I wish I could say this is a new feeling, but I've had it for a while. It can be difficult to focus on much of anything when new hotspots and crises emerge each day, to draw our attention away from what we wish we were focused on. Now, arguably, this is the strategy, and it's working. I mention it only to note that in these times, it requires even more intentionality for us to stay grounded in our values and focused on the good that we are still able to do every day in our spheres of influence. Last week, we celebrated some of the benefits of belonging because, frankly, we need celebrations and joy as a motivation to keep showing up, to keep trying. Today, we're going to build on that and go, actually, building, you have to dig to build, I understand. So we're going to go a little deeper today and explore the question of how we can build belonging. And I don't want this to be a theoretical exercise, and so I invite you to think back on your first time trying to join something on your own. Maybe it was a group of some kind, a choir, a band, a sports team, a church, a new school, a job, some kind of club. Can you come up with some kind of memory of when you first started participating in a group? Now, I'm going to ask you to be honest. How many of you had some kind of anxiety about engaging with that group for the first time? That's a lot of you. And I can't tell if it's everyone or not, so let me ask it in a different way so I can see anybody I missed the first time. Does anyone love that feeling in the pit of your stomach? You know, when you're about to walk for the first time into a room full of people you don't know. Anybody? There was no one for those online who raised their hands. Okay, one. We'll talk later. It's difficult sometimes to join something or to start something new. Have you ever wondered to yourself, did I get the time correct? Am I too early? Am I too late? Did I dress right? I hope I don't say something wrong. What if I don't have something in common with anyone there? Just say yes if you know that feeling. Yes. Thank you. The point I want to illustrate, and thank you for helping, is that it's natural human reaction to be apprehensive about becoming part of something that's bigger than us. It's normal to worry about fitting in, especially in the beginning. And that's because belonging matters so much to us, right? I'm quite serious about this. Most of us want people to know us for who we are and like us, and include us, and offer us a seat at their table in the lunchroom of life. We want that. We want to know that we're valuable enough to be included and that our presence in that group matters, that we're missed, for example, if we're not there. Belonging is a deep human need, and when we don't have it, we're really not able to be our best selves or bring our best gifts to the world. Tell me if I'm making any sense. See how much reassurance I need these days? We all do, and so just ask for what you need, right? So what are the building blocks of belonging? Can you pinpoint in your memory what it was that made you feel like you belonged, if you ever did? And quite practically for us together, how do we create the conditions for people to really feel like they belong? Like, what do we do together, regularly and on purpose, to affirm for others that they belong and that we actually want them to be a part of our community? Sometimes with complex concepts like this, it's easier to start by clearly articulating what it's not. So before talking about what builds belonging, and I promise I'll get there, let's describe what destroys it. And unfortunately, there are too many examples all around us these days, in context from the geopolitical to the deeply personal. What might tell someone that they do not belong? We saw some good examples in the children's story today, didn't we? Here's an egregious example from the Daily News. Masked and armed men arriving at people's homes, places of work or worship, or clinics or stores where they get essential needs met to publicly humiliate or terrify them. Does not express belonging, does it? Rounding people up because they happen to be brown or black or speak with an accent or work in a lower wage job is not the way to build belonging in our country. Unfortunately, we're currently broadcasting the opposite message. You don't belong. We want you to leave, and we'll even escort you to somewhere else that you've never been. At the same time as we offer golden visas to millionaires. Oops, I accidentally stepped on a soapbox. Someone left it here, sorry. Would you take a deep breath with me? I will shift now to something perhaps a little less activating. But notice, and I said that other thing for a reason, notice that the attitudes and behaviors that are displayed in those examples are the same attitudes and behaviors that can get in the way of our attempts to build belonging here in a much different context. Now, in order to describe some real concrete examples of what this can look like in a congregation, I posed a question in a UU Ministers Facebook group asking for examples of how my colleagues have seen congregations tell people that they do not belong when they're coming to church. Now, I want to read you some of their answers because they're real. Like, these are not made up, these are actual real answers, and because they're not from here. Now, that is not to say these things do not happen here. Rather, it is to say, relax, it's okay, I'm not picking on us today. And on the other hand, oopses and ouches are certainly appropriate if you relate. So here's what my colleagues in ministry listed just off the top of their head as ways they have seen churches tell others they do not belong. And you can imagine in each example who might be left out. Now, the first person to comment, I don't know, but had an immediate affinity with, said, where to begin? and then quickly began with this list of things. Mobility barriers to access, no hearing system. Those, no matter how loud they think their voice is, who insist, I don't need the mic. Somebody needs you to use the mic. Complaints about children in worship. Making fun of pronouns. Having elements in worship that everybody knows, so we don't need to print the words. Telling people at the door that they don't have to dress up next time. Asking for volunteers, this is all that same person's list, right? You see why I had some affinity. Asking for volunteers and then having a nominating committee only consider those who've been members 20 years or more. Only playing classical music. Oh, and never inviting anyone who is autistic or who has mental health difficulties to participate in leading worship. Other colleagues added these examples, again, real-life examples. Charging for snacks at coffee hour, or forcing children to recite the UU principles before they earn a free snack. Refusing to put out a dish someone made at a potluck because no one will eat that. And my colleague noted it wasn't bad food, just culturally unfamiliar to the controller of the kitchen. Asking people to volunteer or make a commitment before even knowing their names or what they care about. Assuming that everyone has been to college or that all high school students should be going there. Members who won't talk to or seem not to even see visitors who appear to be poor or working class. Saying things like, you all know this song. My colleague noted that she did not know that song. When a welcomer said something, this one's long but worth it. When a welcomer said something like, oh, I see you are a fill in the blank. We're very welcoming to fill in the blank people. In fact, we have one other fill in the blank person. Wait for it. But I don't see them right now, or I would yell across the building to get them to talk to you. And actually, we would like to have a fill-in-the-blank person on our board. You can say ouch. Say ouch. Saying to a newcomer, well, if you're Christian, you might be more comfortable at insert the name of the church down the street. Expecting a pledge without a waiver option. Inviting people onto a committee and then making all the decisions of the committee in the small group of long-term committee members without including the new folks in decision-making. Worship, again, these are not here, right? These are examples from elsewhere. Worship associates introducing the day's speaker by saying, of course everyone knows Ellen. This person added, no, we don't all know Ellen. And finally, imagine this announcement. You're all invited to the picnic at Daybreak Farm next week. Now, if you know where that is and what we mean, you were probably there last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and we might not have to hire a consultant to discover why new people don't come. Let's breathe together again. In fact, I'm going to take a drink. We all want and need to belong. Our faith tradition as Unitarian Universalists have always wanted our congregations to be places where people can experience genuine belonging. And even in our sincerity about that, we sometimes get in our own way. I mean, I've done some of those things. It makes me want to cringe to think about, much less admit to you people that I want to like me. So what do we do? What are the building blocks we might use to build belonging with more awareness and intention? If it's your first time with us, you should know by now, or you should know, I'm not going to answer that question for us. But I do want to share some thoughts. One of the many people that's working on this right now is Starhawk, the author of our reading for today. These days, she describes herself as a Jewish, pagan, goddess worshiper, activist, progressive, bisexual, feminist, writer, permaculturist, supporter of justice for Palestine, and many other things. I've long admired her wisdom, and so I've been eagerly following along on this book project that she's releasing, unpolished, chapter by chapter, because we need it so much right now. It's called Building the Movement We Need. These are some things that she suggests we have to think about as building blocks for belonging. And again, that belonging is absolutely foundational for our ability to survive together. First, identity matters. Our personal identities are complex, though, and nuanced, but we have to take them seriously. All of us want important aspects of ourselves to be seen. We need them to be seen so that we know we truly belong. And yet none of us want that to be seen as only one aspect of our identity, as the fill-in-the-blank person. Beyond personal identity, group identity matters. We have to be clear enough of who we are, about who we are together, that we can invite others to join. And to that end, we need to find a group identity that is open and porous and broadly inclusive. It has to reach across our many divides to forge greater connection and new alliances. I think the UUA has helped us in this regard with the new articulation of our values. Ours is a faith striving to center love, and if it gets more complicated than that, we can just come back to that, right? What is loving in this moment? And then we need to keep reminding ourselves about the value of that thing together. We do have to pay attention to the messages we're sending to others about their belonging, even when we don't think we're saying anything. You heard some examples. We have ways, appropriate attire is, or the right way to do things. We have stink eyes. I dare you to tell me you don't. We have ways of telling people. We got to be aware of that. And the burden of noticing and changing those messages falls disproportionately on those who already belong, because that's an insider problem. It's easy for us to get comfortable. That's one of the benefits of belonging. But we can't get so comfortable that protecting our comfort becomes the point. To build belonging, we have to welcome conflict. Disagreements are perfectly natural. Conflict is a normal part of growth in a community, and we avoid it at our peril. So when it comes up, we have to train ourselves not to shut down or run away or pretend it's not there, but to take a deep breath and turn towards one another in love. Easier said than done, I know, but we can do it together. To build belonging, we have to listen beyond the assumptions that we make to hear the specific concerns and ideas and needs and gifts of the people, even if we think we know them so well, people that we will always be learning more about. We have to tell our stories over and over, and yes, one more time, if someone else hasn't heard it yet. We have to pay attention not only when it's about to be our turn to talk. To build belonging, we have to care about one another. The concerns for others in the group or the group as a whole has to be more important than our individual preferences. And in order to remain soft enough to stay engaged when everything isn't the way we want it to be, we have to spend time nurturing and building relationships below the surface. We need to be vulnerable with one another, share stories and poetry. We've got to laugh together and share food and cry and make art, because those things strengthen bonds that allow us to bridge differences instead of othering one another because of them. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? It sounds like a lot. Building belonging is a complicated practice, but it is absolutely essential. It's part of what it means to be spiritual community. And together with attention and intention, we can do this. We must do this for ourselves, for one another, and for the sake of the world that needs us working together more than ever. So welcome. You are part of the group that will be building belonging in this place.
This is the time in our service where we receive our morning offerings. Each week we share the cash offerings with a charity with soul, and this month's charity is Immigrant Legal Advocacy Project. Please give as generously as you're able. Please, please join me in our congregational response. May these offerings sustain and grow the work of this church, weaving a tapestry of love and action. Thank you.
I invite you to rise in spirit and in body if you would like as we sing our closing song, and invite my other song leaders to help put some feeling in this if you have it. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way.
We are working
To be free.
to be free.
We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Peace and freedom is our cry.
Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. You may be seated. The closing words this morning come from a poem that John Rodell wrote this week in response to the events around us. And he said, "The only way out of this mess is for us to stop treating each other as targets and start treating each other as kin. Not with laws alone, but with the daily decision to see one another as human. To agree that everyone deserves dignity and that an act of violence against one is an act against us all. Violence may be our national addiction, but community can be our recovery. And if we dare, we can be the generation that breaks this lust for blood and learns again to see the humanity in everyone around us." There are just a few invitations we want to offer you to let you know about opportunities that you can engage in this community. We want you to feel like you belong, and some of these are ways that you can do that. You may be wondering whatever happened to those discussions we started having last year about the growth of our community. Some of the scenes from that children's book might have rung some bells in your own head. Well, the Board of Trustees appointed a growth task force that met almost weekly all through the summer, put together a very thorough report, and we'll be sharing that with you in just a week or two. Here's the invitation and the plea. That will come along with a survey that we really, really need you to take. We are at that point that we can't really go any further without hearing more from you and without you honestly telling us what you would like to see moving forward. So please watch for that and help us in our discernment and planning. There are some upcoming opportunities for lifelong spiritual formation. Chalice circles are small, regularly meeting groups that foster deep community, spiritual growth, and personal connection through shared reflection and deep listening. Registration for our fall Chalice Circles opens next Sunday on the 21st of September, and an information session for that will happen after the service next week in the May Sarton Room. The mission of Restorative Justice Project Maine is to promote a justice that is community-based, repairs harm, and creates safety and well-being for all. If you're interested in helping youth be diverted from the criminal legal system and are curious about the restorative justice process, please join DIQ after the service today in the May Sarton Room for more information. First session of Qigong starts this Wednesday in the sanctuary. And we will have new groups for sacred ground forming, and that is our program that helps you engage with racial justice and the deconstruction of multiple oppressions. If you want more information about that, you can see DIQ and Susan Babb, and because I just did the thing that I said we shouldn't do, they're both right over there. If you are concerned about democracy these days, anyone? Stop by the Wendell Berry Room after church to speak with Betsy Williams about question 1 on this fall's ballot and the campaign to save Maine's absentee voting laws. Learn more about how you can get involved. And I think that's all. We want you to be invited and know that this is a place where you can plug in and grow. Right now, you can start by greeting your neighbor.